To On the Money with Ryan Wheelis and Matt Stevenson. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Fellas, how are you doing today?
You know how I'm doing, Spike. I just got in the radio studio with you for 2 hours.
Folks, this is it's going to be so hard to control you two today. Folks, I host the radio show for these guys on the Money weekly on the weekends. We have a great show, though, that you guys have put together today. We're going to be talking about annuities.
That's a four-letter word.
I know. I was really surprised. It's an A word spelled with 4 letters, exactly. And I was really surprised that you were willing to talk about it today. Matt, what was one of the reasons that you thought we needed to cover this for today?
Yeah, Spike. And really the main reason is for that educational side of things. When we see people that come into the office to build their financial flight plan, there's a lack of education and insight into how these things work, because they do have a bad rap, and they may not be for everybody, but it's important to understand how these things work and the different types that are out there.
No question about it. And Spike, billions of dollars flow into annuities every single year. Some people in the financial world love them, and some people like Ken Fisher and Dave Ramsey, they don't like them at all. So why is that, right? I mean, are they right? Are they wrong? We really have to think about this for ourselves and ultimately make the decision for ourselves. And so what I did today when I wrote today's show content is I really wanted to be very objective and just provide some facts and let the chips fall where they may. And the reason why I did it, Spike, is that you have an 85% chance of being offered an annuity product today if you sit down and talk to a financial advisor about retiring.
Right. I can tell you're still nursing that sore throat, so thank you for showing up here today. I know it's because you're always taking it easy on the weekends, aren't you?
Yes, mostly I am. Lots of golf, flying the plane, spending time with the family, though. We spent the last weekend in Vegas, so I'm recovering from that, rolling the bones on the dice table and having a great time.
And, hopefully you were on the money there, too. But
let's not talk about it.
So let's get the definition out of the way. Annuity. We hear the word, there's always an immediate emotional reaction. What exactly is an annuity?
An annuity, in its standpoint, is a contractual agreement between you and an insurance company to exchange a lump sum of money for benefits you may receive in the future. It's that simple.
Okay.
The benefits and guarantees are backed by the financial claims paying ability and the strength of the insurance company. But that's really what it comes down to. It's a contractual agreement in exchange for a lump sum of money to provide some type of future benefit to you, whether it's guaranteed income, whether it's safe money accumulation, whether it's a fixed rate of return, or being aggressive in the stock market with guarantees. There's all kind of benefits that are offered out there, but in its essence, it's a contract between you and an insurance company to provide future benefits.
All right, but I imagine that there's many different kinds of annuities.
That's what boggles me, is that people say annuities are bad. Ken Fisher says annuities are bad. Dave Ramsey says annuities are bad. And I'm not saying those guys are right or wrong, but they say that, right? And so everybody says, well, annuities are bad. But people don't realize there's actually 4 unique types of annuities.
Okay.
All right, and so when it comes to 4 types of annuities, there's some keywords we associate with them to kind of help people identify what they are. So the first one is an immediate annuity. And an immediate annuity, the key word is a pension. All right, we'll get more into detail on that here later in the show, but that's what you need to know for right now. A variable annuity is, the key word with the variable annuities is mutual funds with risk of loss. A variable annuity is the only annuity out there that subjects your money to downside market risk. All right, then you've got a fixed annuity. And a fixed annuity, the key word is a bank CD. Fixed annuities were designed by the insurance company over 100 years ago to directly compete with bank CDs, right? And lastly, you have one called the fixed index annuity, which is very popular today. And we associate the fixed index annuity keyword as a hybrid. And the reason why we call it a hybrid program is it's designed to do multiple things. It can give you safe money accumulation, it can provide you a guaranteed lifetime income, and also has a fixed rate of return on it. So lots of variables there, lots of things to them, and we're going to dive deeper into all those things here later in the show.
Right. So let's take a pause for the audience real quick. It's a lot to take in.
It really is.
How does somebody know which kind of annuity they're supposed to be looking for themselves?
Yeah, Spike, and really that's why we go through the education, because depending on whether it's an immediate, a variable, fixed index, there's a lot of information to digest there. And so going through that educational process to really see which type of annuity may or may not fit into their overall financial flight plan is one of the most important aspects.
Yeah, and to that end, there's so many benefits that annuities can provide, right? I mean, we've got growth and accumulation of money, we've got tax deferral, inflation-adjusted lifetime income streams, death benefits for heirs, long-term care benefits, access to capital when you need your money, right? So those are all benefits they can provide, but it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish to figure out which program is best for you. And the drawbacks are there too, right? So you've got drawbacks such as some have fees, some have really high fees, by the way. The surrender charges. Oh my God, I've heard about these surrender charges of these annuities.
So surrender charge meaning, I changed my mind, I want out.
That's exactly right. There's a penalty to get out, and sometimes those penalties are as high as 9-10%. Sometimes they're as low as 2 or 3%, depending on which product's out there. But they're there, by the way, to protect the insurance company and its other policyholders, so the insurance company can provide the protection and guarantees that they do in these programs.
Right.
And there's no there's no perfect tool out there, Spike. And all annuities are tools. They're a tool to get you where you may need to go, right? So you're asking kind of an example of how to figure out which one is right for you. Right. Let's look at your non-discretionary expenses: food, water, shelter, clothing, access to health care, transportation. Did I miss one, man?
I think that covers it.
It. Okay.
Airplane gas.
Yeah, easy. Airplane gas is important, but you've got those things, right? So let's assume that cost per year is $60,000 a year.
Okay.
You've got $30,000 coming in from Social Security. All right. Well, if I said, okay, you have a $60,000 need, you've got $30,000 coming in from Social Security, you now have a $30,000 gap. Okay. Mm-hmm. Spike, how much of that $30,000 gap would you like to have guaranteed to you, as long as you have breath in your body?
All of it.
So you want your quality of life.
You said the daily, the monthly stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this is food, shelter, the car insurance, it needs, travel and so forth. I need all of that guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. So what out there does that? Can you get guaranteed income from a mutual fund? No. From a stock? No. From a bond? Yes, for a period of time. Right, but to get $30,000 a year in income from a bond right now, you got to put $1 million.
I was going to say it's going to be a really large bond,
right? Nowhere near that to get that kind of income from an annuity. In some cases, you might be able to get $30,000 a year for like $400,000, right? So it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And as good as those things can be to help you fill that guaranteed income gap for life, that you want to have those expenses covered for you as long as you have breath in your body, there's also drawbacks. Right?
Yeah.
And we got to talk about the drawbacks.
Right.
And drawbacks are things like the fees, the surrender charges we talked about, time commitment on funds. To get the benefits of an annuity, you have to commit your money for a period of time. Some expose your money to market risk, like the variable annuity, and some do not provide death benefit to your heirs. For instance, an immediate annuity, if you buy that and die, your heirs get nothing. Right? So you really have to understand what these programs are, how they work, what the benefits are, what the cost of the benefits are, and make a decision for yourself.
One more negative before we go to break is I often hear about illiquidity, that once you've signed into this contract, I can't get my money back out. True or false?
That's true on some programs. An immediate annuity is not a liquid program. A variable annuity, a fixed annuity, and a fixed index annuity all have liquidity of options available to them.
Okay.
So that's not always the case, right?
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of the viewers out there are grateful for the information, but they might be a little overwhelmed. They can call into you, obviously not during the program right now, but during the week or weekend. What can you do for them in a quick phone call?
So really, folks at home, listen, we're trying to help educate you about what's out there for you. And ultimately, you have to make the decision for yourself about this stuff. And so we've got an annuity report called An Annuity Is an Annuity Right for You? And the way we give it to you is this. You call us at 844-944-7555. Again, 844-944-7555. And when you call us, ask us for the report. But what we're going to do before we give you the report is we want to schedule a 15-minute phone call with you, a strategy phone call. And once we've got that phone call done, we're going to send you the report. And if you want more information about annuities from that point forward, we're glad to help you. If you decide an annuity is not right for you, guess what? We can still help you. All right? So give us a call, 844-944-7555. Again, 844-944-7555. You can also click the QR code at the bottom of your screen there, or check us out at onthemoneytv.com. Again, onthemoneytv.com.
Ryan, Matt, we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to come back with more different types. You're going to take a deeper dive into 4 different types of annuities when we get back from the break. Please take advantage of their complimentary offer. Either use the QR code on the bottom of your screen or call the number right here, 844-944-7555. We'll be back with more On the Money and these guys right after this break.
Here we go.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back to On the Money with Ryan Wheelis and Matt Stevenson. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Of course, Ryan and Matt are in the team of Allied Wealth right here in the Houston area. Peter's going to be joining us on another program in a later week, but good to see you fellas. I get to do the radio show with you guys, listen to you guys every single week. Today we're talking about annuities, and I wanted to go a little bit further, if you don't mind, into the specific types. Matt, which one do you want to start with first?
Yeah, Spike. So the first one to start with is going to be the immediate annuity. And so another key word for an immediate annuity is it works like a pension would through your company. I know a lot of pensions have gone away over the years, but you basically exchange that lump sum for that guaranteed income stream for as long as you have breath in your body. Now, that can be a great thing. It gives you that guaranteed income for life, but there are some drawbacks. The main one, Ryan, that we see quite often is that oftentimes they are not beneficiary designated, meaning that if something happens to the person that has that immediate annuity or pension plan, then the company keeps the remainder of that benefit.
Yeah, so if you buy an immediate annuity, Spike, and you live to be 110 years of age, the insurance company has to pay you as long as you have breath in your body, right? Which is interesting because the number one fear of Americans today is outliving their money.
Right.
And to combat that, the longevity risk of living longer has never been higher. We have medical procedures and technology around today that can keep you alive for a very long time, all right? So it's interesting because this program is actually designed to combat longevity. So even though you may run out of a lump sum of cash, you will always have an income stream. All right.
Okay.
Now the cost, again, as Matt's saying, is if I buy that annuity and I live to be 110, I get paid until I die. Right. However, if I buy it and step off the curb and get hit by the bus 2 years later, guess what? The payments stop. The lump sum of cash I put in is gone, and the insurance company does, in fact, keep the money.
So what's a good profile of somebody who would want to use an immediate annuity?
Somebody who is has a pot of funds, so to speak, that they're okay with that happening. They're willing to accept that risk. Or the other thing you can do is you can set the annuity to pay up joint life payout, meaning a married couple who has a pot of funds, so to speak, that they want to use for guaranteed income. If the husband dies, the wife can continue to receive benefits. But when the wife dies, the remaining balance is left at the insurance company, and the heirs don't get anything from that pot of funds. It doesn't mean the heirs don't get anything, because there could be other monies out there, right, for invested in the markets and that sort of thing that did produce a residual value.
Okay. So annuity number 2. What are we going to next?
You know, this one is, and I'll take this one, Matt, but jump in. You've got some good knowledge on this stuff too here. So the next one's the variable annuity. And we call the variable annuity in our office the scareable don't do it, right? And I'm making mockery of it, but when you hear Ken Fisher and Dave Ramsey hate annuities, this is the program they're talking about, all right? We've identified over 20 different fees, hidden fees inside of variable annuity contracts over the years, and it's mind-boggling to me the number of people out there that have them that have no idea the cost of them. And that's Ken Fisher's big rub with it. He says, listen, there's nothing you can do inside of a variable annuity that you can't do outside of a variable annuity for way less charges, way less expenses, and the same risk, right? So I get that, and Ken Fisher's exactly right, and Dave Ramsey, for that matter, is exactly right too. So the key word with a variable annuity is mutual funds, and what you do is you deposit a lump sum of cash into an annuity with an insurance carrier, and they invest your money into these things called sub-accounts, and all they are is marked up mutual funds. Okay, so you can buy the same mutual fund outside the variable annuity for a lower expense.
And you're saying mutual fund, you could even do that on your own outside in an exchange-traded fund, which would be 90% less.
Even cheaper, right? But inside these variable annuities, these funds are expensive, okay? And so that adds to the cost. And then what happens is, the cool thing about it, by the way, is you have this thing called a mortality and expense charge. Well, mortality and expense is life insurance. So basically what you're doing is you're insuring market losses against your life, all right? So if you put $100,000 in the contract, your beneficiaries are guaranteed to get no less than what you put in, okay? So if I go back to 2008, I walk out of my front door to my mailbox, open up my statement and see that I lost 40% of my money. I dropped dead of a heart attack right there. Not cool, all right? But guess what happens? My beneficiaries are guaranteed to get no less than what I put in. So if I put in $100,000, the market takes 40% from me. I have a $60,000 balance, right? My heirs don't get $60,000; they get what I put in the contract. Okay, so you're buying life insurance against market losses. The cool thing about that is, if you do die, your heirs get what you put in the contract. But the people that Matt and I serve, they're not trying to figure out how to die. They're trying to figure out how to live the best possible life they can with the resources they had to work with.
Absolutely, Ryan. And one of the biggest challenges that we see with the variable annuity is the fees inside of this. We talked about the mutual fund expenses and the M&E charges, things like that. But when we analyze these variable annuity programs for the clients that come to see us every single day, the average cost on a variable annuity ranges between 2.5% to sometimes 4.5% per year.
Wow.
Here's an example.
And people usually aren't aware of those, right?
This is the one where we see the most lack of insight into how all of these bells and whistles work, because there are so many. A gentleman came to see me in the office. He had $1 million placed inside a variable annuity. He'd had it for about 20 years. And what he didn't realize is, on that $1 million, he came to us because he felt there was a lack of growth. And he was exactly right, because his average cost was 4% per year. He was paying $40,000 a year in cost for all of that variable annuity expenses.
Wow.
Eating away at that return he could have had.
We're going to go out to a break here in a moment. I want to ask you a little bit about your charitable work, but real quick, who are these variable annuities usually pitched to?
They're pitched to really anybody who will take the deal, right? Meaning, hey, you get growth, you get guarantees. If you die, your beneficiaries get the remaining balance. And somebody who's age 50 and up, looking to retire, meet with an advisor, looking for income sources. If that's you, and I describe our audience, by the way, you're likely going to be pitched a variable annuity product.
At some point in your life.
No question.
You know, I appreciate that you do all of this financial education. I do appreciate that you guys do the radio show with me, and I get to join you on that, these television programs, everything that you do at Allied Wealth, at all of your 7 offices all around Houston. But you also give back to the community, especially the service members. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely, folks. So I want to say 2 things. One, remember, we're doing the show today to provide education, all right? And so we built a free report called Is an Annuity Right for You? And we want you to have it, all right? So how to get it is call 844-944-7555. Again, 844-944-7555. Click the QR code on the screen. Check us out at onthemoneytv.com. Again, onthemoneytv.com. And what will happen is you call us up. We want to schedule a 15-minute phone call with you, a strategy phone call, find out what you're trying to accomplish, and send you the report. It's that simple, all right? Now, to piggyback on what Spike's saying is that, you know, Matt and I are American success stories. I remember Matt graduated from Virginia Tech and was actually the janitor at a school for a while, right? Trying to find a job. And I came from nothing and built a business. And I could not have done that because without America being America. And we live in the greatest country in the world. We are the land of opportunity, the land of the free, the home of the brave. But we are that because of the great men and women who have fought and died for our country and the great men and women who continue to serve our country. Unfortunately, we have 20 soldiers a day take their life right here on U.S. soil as a direct result of battling and having issues with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And I have a line with an organization called the Mighty Oaks Warriors Programs, and I donate my airtime, I donate my money. I've raised a lot of money for these folks over the years, and they are a wonderful organization. They're the only faith-based organization approved by the military to combat PTSD. Check out this important message from Mighty Oaks Warrior Program. We'll be right back.
Many of our veterans feel they need to fight their battles alone. This self-isolation has led to the staggering statistic of more than 20 veterans taking their lives every day. The mission of Mighty Oaks is to eradicate the veteran suicide epidemic and help our warriors change their legacies. We've been able to help over 4,000 veterans and first responders by equipping them with the tools they need to live the lives they were created to live. Our faith-based, peer-to-peer approach has one of the highest success rates of any program available today, offering hope and understanding to those who need it most. By aligning their lives to biblical principles, these men and women are able to lead their families, their communities, and our nation. It's your generosity that can make a difference in the lives of the men and women who have fought for our country and our freedoms. Now that they're home, don't let them fight alone. Learn more at mightyoaksprograms.org.
Welcome back to On the Money with Ryan Wheelis and Matt Stevenson of Allied Wealth. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. We are having a fantastic show talking about annuities today. And I know it's not completely what you do at the office. So you do money management, you look at tax preparation. I love that you talk about social security maximization.
Absolutely.
And so forth. But we do need to talk about this because sometimes this might be a decent solution. We were talking about different types. I think we were on annuity number 3 right now. Which one would that be for you?
Yeah, so we've talked about the immediate and the variable annuity. Type number 3 would be the fixed annuity. So again, this is with an insurance carrier. It works much like a bank CD would at your local bank. And so you deposit a lump sum of money in there for a fixed rate of return over a specified number of years, whether that's 3, 5, 7 years. And the rate of interest you get can change depending on how long you have your dollars in that program. Some of the benefits, of course, you have the principal protection from that program. You have the fixed rate of return over that set amount of time. You do have liquidity or access to your funds over that time frame. Oftentimes you can find these programs for little to no fees. You get the tax deferral benefits inside of them and that lump sum death benefit for your heirs. But Ryan, there are some drawbacks, aren't there?
No question. And so, and to that end, Matt, the fixed rate that you get is fixed for the life of the program. So if you buy a 5-year fixed annuity at 3%, you get 3% for 5 years, right? But the drawbacks are interesting because there is a time commitment on funds. Any type of safe vehicle that you can't lose money in requires time commitment on funds. That's the way it works. There's no perfect financial tool out there, all right? The other thing is that there's limited access to funds. So typically you have access to a rate of 10% per year you can draw out of the program. If you take out more than that, there's a surrender charge, right? Okay. But it's important you understand that. And folks, the big thing that we see with the folks at home is I see these advisors out there put so much money people's money in annuities that the people don't have enough liquidity outside the annuity. Okay. And that's where the rub comes in. Something happens and they can't get enough access. Well, don't do that, right? It's part of being the holistic financial planners you mentioned earlier. Right. I mean, we would never put 100% of somebody's money in annuities.
You're talking, again, you're talking about that floor money, that kind of guarantee, that consistent money you're talking about. Say, hey, let's use part of it in this solution over here to make sure that we always have this covered. Now, we want to have some growth for our longer term money. That might be more managed money and so forth. Well, that's one of them. Is that the last of it, the fixed annuity? It sounds safer than that variable.
It is. So again, the variable annuity is the only one of the 4 that has market risk associated with it. All right. The last one is called the fixed index annuity. And the key word with the fixed index annuity is hybrid. All right. It was designed to kind of capitalize on the fixed annuity. So it has a minimum guaranteed rate of return you can receive over the life of the contract, all right? And contract's a scary word, but it's a contract between you and an insurance company. And then you have the ability to link growth to an index, all right, such as this U.S.
Link. So it's not directly matched?
Not in the market, all right? So what happens is the insurance company takes your money and they buy bonds with it. And every single year, those bonds pay interest, all right? The insurance company takes the interest off that bond portfolio, they keep some for their profit, and the rest of it they invest in the index on your behalf using call options, all right? The index goes up, your account increases in value. If the index goes down, you don't lose any money. And when you earn money in the program, it becomes part of your principal, and these things are principal protected from day one, but as you add money with growth to them, it's principal protected too. So the market cannot take the money from you. The only way the value can go down, Spike, is if you take money out and spend it. So
when people come into you for the first time, is this one of the solutions that you're talking about initially? Are we getting to know people first? Is your firm annuity focused?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Spike. So really we look for that balance, and it's all, again, tied to that education. Understanding what you have the ability to do and invest in, whether it's tied to the market or different types of categories or these different types of annuities that we're talking about here on today's show. The most important part is your comfort level with it and how it can fit inside of your plan. But importantly, in this environment, when we talk about something like a fixed index annuity, where the target rate of return is somewhere between, say, 4 to 7% per year, it can act as a good replacement for the bond portion of your portfolio.
Right, that's why we call him Blade, by the way, folks. He's very smart.
As rates rise, the value of bonds in the short term falls, and so a program like this allows you to shift that risk away from owning individual bonds to an insurance carrier, which may make this a good fit for the principal protection and a good rate of growth.
Ryan, do you mind telling me some of the other things that you do cover and like a complete review when people do call? And I know you're going to do a 15-minute phone call, but it's not just an annuity conversation or investment. What do you cover?
This show, I mean, we obviously are talking about annuities because I think it's very important. If you have an 85% chance of being offered one, you need some education. And I've got 30 minutes here to educate folks. It's not a lot of time. That's why we're offering the report, all right? However, but we're more holistic than just annuities, obviously. So what we typically offer on the show that you've probably seen before, hopefully, is a financial flight plan. And in that financial flight plan, we really take a deep dive into your risk tolerance versus your risk capacity. And then what we're going to do is make sure you're, through a portfolio x-ray, make sure your current portfolio matches your risk capacity. That's what you can afford to lose versus what you think you can lose. And I promise you, those are two different numbers, all right? The next thing we want to do is build an income plan for you that allows you to go out into retirement and spend money with confidence even though the stock markets are down. There's a lot more to that, folks. So to get access to the report today, give us a call at 844-944-7555. Again, 844-944-7555. You can click the QR code on the bottom of your screen or check us out at onthemoneytv.com. Again, onthemoneytv.com.
Thank you so much for watching On the Money with Ryan Wheelis and Matt Stevenson. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. I can't believe I didn't have to put one of them in timeout. Please take advantage of calling the phone number on the screen right there. We'll be back again next week.